Hey, so I'll be honest, I was trying to think of what I should title this, and this doesn't follow any of the video formats or really anything that I've done before. Um, but kind of feel like it's something that I needed to talk about. Um, and always have the idea that the universe works in mysterious ways. So at the end of the day, maybe it's not for me, maybe it's for somebody else. But something that's kind of happened recently after speaking with somebody who I care about deeply, it kind of made me think and start looking a little more inward. Um, and it's not necessarily anything to really do with this channel. It's kind of just thinking about life in general. And as I was listening to this person talk to me about the different things that they've gone through, yes, I was active listening to them too, by the way. But it kind of made me think about myself, and I thought to myself, like, man, am I really doing all the things that I should be doing in life to kind of further myself? Like, am I really being as good as I can be? Or even better, am I really even being good at all? I don't know about you, but there have been a lot of different points in my life where I've come to some conclusion like, why am I here? Or do I even deserve to be here? And I think that's called like imposter syndrome or something. But it's definitely something that I've struggled with for a very long time. I say that because going through school, you have the folks that would get the all A's, they're all B's. And to be honest, I think I've been on the honor roll. Not that it matters now, I'm older, I don't give a shit. But before, I think I might have been on the honor roll like once or twice my entire life. And those are probably the only times I really cared about it. Ironically, it only happened when I did sports. But when I wasn't doing sports, then my grades would be like just average. But then, there's different things that have happened that I've been in situations I'm like, I don't understand why I'm in charge here. Or I felt like just very nervous, like, man, I really shouldn't be here. I don't know if that's something that I'll ever get over, because over the years it's gotten better, and then you get in situations where you realize you can do better. But I bring it up because after speaking with this person, I started to think about and reflect on really things that I've done, and I've done okay, but I still feel like there's a lot more that I could be doing. Now, why I feel like that, I don't know. I mean, could I be more organized? Yes. Could I lead more? Yes. Could I be more humble? Yes. So maybe it's something that changes over time, but I don't know. It's almost like you get this feeling like, man, I'm not good enough, or I'm not as good as I should be. And I'm not sure if that's an expectation that we put on ourselves and just kind of think over time, like, hey, I visualize by this time in my life I'd be doing this. Or maybe, someone has a channel like, oh, by now I would have had 10,000 subscribers. Is that stuff important? Yeah, I mean, it is. It'd be nice, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it'd be nice, but even then, maybe it'd still be the same. You can get to 10K, you can get to 1 million, 2 million, and still think to yourself, like, man, I could just be doing so much more. I'm not doing enough. But I think the reason why it's kind of not gone away is because there's a scene from the God of War where it's Kratos and Thor and they're like fighting. And, I think it's like the second fight or something. He's like, do you know what I've done? Yes. He talks about how it needs to be better. And that's kind of what I've been thinking about. It's like, man, like, I just need to be better. And it's not that I'm necessarily not being good enough, even though I've always felt like, man, I'm not good enough. But I guess it's more so I need to attack the reason why I feel like I'm not good enough. And it's something to really think about, but I feel like it's bothering me more and more. The further along I get in my career, the more and more it demands of me. And I imagine there's some people that maybe are working certain jobs or doing certain things, or even in careers. Heck, maybe they're about to retire, and they think to themselves like, I am absolutely miserable and I don't enjoy what I'm doing. And that's something really sad to think about, because once I got into YouTube and started doing this more, I started to realize I really enjoy gaming for one. But one, being around other people and just that old feeling you used to get just when I was growing up, when YouTube and online gaming weren't even a thing. And you'd be in the living room and people would be there all playing split screen, like just that feeling of community and being around people, like that is an amazing feeling. You can you can't even remember the game you played, but you know who you were with and the way it felt. Like, and I remember the first time I played Halo, and this is what even got me into Xbox. I'd originally been like a Nintendo fan forever, playing Mario, Legend of Zelda, and then the first time I went over to my buddy's house, I think his name was Aaron, and they were doing a is it Link System? I can't remember what it's called, but basically it was System Link. Yeah, you're playing System Link, and they had like 4 different Xboxes in 4 different rooms, and we were all spread out playing it. And it was like 16, and I think there were 8 teams of 2s. You had yellow team, gold team, purple team, green team, cyan team. Good Lord, it was so fun, and just having everybody was together, rooting each other on, but also killing each other, offing each other. I'm gonna call it. I don't know if I can say that, but just that entire feeling community was great, and yeah, that was what made me kind of focus on getting to YouTube. And with YouTube, what it's helped me realize is that there are a lot of people that are just very unhappy, and in the career that I'm in, I've had some parts where there's folks that are working for me, and I have to do some type of mentorship with them, and maybe they're deciding that they no longer want to work in this career, or they're just coming just to speak. And one thing I've always noticed is that if they're unhappy with what they're doing, it was never necessarily with the job or career they're working. It was more so because they felt like, one, they weren't good enough, or 2, they didn't really know what they wanted to do. And it's not that, and there's a book I read that talked about it. It's not that they didn't know what they wanted to do, but I think over time they've forgotten. That's exactly what happened to me. And YouTube and gaming and speaking with other people and kind of building community has shown me that you really need to take time and look into what you want to do. Of course, anybody can say, like, I'm doing it every day. What are you talking about? But I think when we have these careers and these other things, they can kind of distract us. And I'm not saying I have more or less time. I'm not saying that at all. Because fortunately, but unfortunately for me, it took my career almost completely failing for me to realize that, hey, I actually enjoy things outside of my career. Which for me, I've been doing for over a decade. So I didn't really think of anything outside of that. But it wasn't until I was faced with the possibility of no longer being in my career and having to do something else that one day someone asked, like, hey, so what would you do if you weren't doing this? And I literally had no idea. But even in the career, there were a lot of things I was doing where I was constantly switching out positions and jobs, and I'd always find myself getting bored or aggravated. And I didn't really know what that was. And the reason that this ties back to the being better thing is because as I'm listening to this person speak to me, I start to realize that there's a lot more that I can do, and I know what I need to do. Why am I not doing it? And I don't know. Hope you're hoping for a better answer, but I don't know. I don't know if it's scary realizing you have to do something completely different, or just the idea of jumping into a career outside of what you've known, or just the possibility that you actually may be decent at it, which you're not expecting. So I constantly have this feeling or this tug of, I want to do this, but I want to do that, but I really want to do this, but I've already been doing this, so I'm not going to take the chance to do that. Hopefully this is making sense. Maybe it's not. I think I'm just kind of rambling now. I'm supposed to be working on something else right now, like for work, and I can't really focus, and that's kind of, I feel like talking. So I guess you can take this more as a rant. It's just interesting to think that I always visualize myself being somewhere else, And then while I'm here and as time has gone on, I had focused on doing one thing for so long, and that's not what I'm doing at all. It's good because I figured out what I really want to do, but now I have this tug on doing something else, and I feel like it's taking away from what I really want to do. I still have time that I've gotten a little more disciplined and older to figure out what needs to be done, but it's just it doesn't change the fact that when I'm working or doing other things, I feel less than. Yeah, I'm not really sure how much to put it. Maybe someone understands what I'm talking about. It's a weird feeling. And if you think it's gonna go away, I don't think it ever does. But I think when you get into something and really like take that time and look at what drives your passion, and maybe that'll help you find, or it'll make you enjoy what you're doing more, and not necessarily you enjoy your career or whatever field you're in, that it gets better. Maybe you enjoy it more because now what you're doing can be the milestone or help you develop the skills to get in what you really want to do. I feel like for this, it's gotten a lot better for me, but at the same token, there's still this feeling of like, there's a lot more you could be doing. And just over time, I imagine maybe I'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about. It's just weighing on me more and more the older I get. I thought it's something I can get over and move on. And I feel better when I'm on here and I go live and I do YouTube, or even better when someone the other day was talking to me and talked about how he had rediscovered his passion. And I had talked to him, and of course I'm not gonna use his name in here, but he had talked about how he thought it was interesting how doing YouTube and something I had found I was passionate about. And I was telling him, like, you gotta take time and really look and dig deep and find what you want to do and take that introspection, because everybody, what was the name of the book? I think it was, oh man, I can't really look. It was like the 10 Habits of Highly Successful People, but it talks about the end in mind and how if you're not sure what you want to do, imagine if you had like your 5-year-old self, and let's say you pop in a time machine and you see your 5-year-old self, and you're there all happy and I want to be a dinosaur or whatever you want to do. What could you tell your 5-year-old self now that you do now that will make your 5-year-old self cry? I'll say it again. What could you tell yourself, your 5-year-old self now, if you go back in time, and tell them that you do now that will make them cry? And for me, it took me some time to kind of look through that. And now that I'm doing it, it's great. But now I'm like, am I really doing what I need to be successful at this? Is my success, or am I not being as successful as I want to be because I'm not going 100%? Do I need to leave my primary career to focus on this, or how do I leverage the time that I have to focus on my passion while still being, competitive in my career? And like I said, as time goes on, as you get older and get further in different positions, you would think it would get easier, but just have more responsibility and more duties. And that stuff adds up. And it takes time. And maybe it takes time from things or people you love, ultimately. So you have to really discipline on your time and really know what you want. So over time, like I said, your career will pull you where it wants to, what it thinks you should do, even though that may not, you may hate your job completely. But if you never look inside and find what you want to do, you're gonna be trapped forever, and you're never gonna be happy. It doesn't matter if you make $1 million. Granted, don't get me wrong, $1 million would be nice. All right? Give me a little change, I'll be good. But it's not gonna matter if you're not happy with your family, getting divorced with your wife, your husband, or whatever. It's not gonna matter. I mean, it'll help. You'll do better. Yeah, sure. And no, I don't make $1 million. I wish I did. God, that'd be nice. But still, like, over time, you're just gonna have problems somewhere else. And maybe there'll be different problems. I don't know. Maybe there'll be more expensive problems. But it's just something to really think about. Yeah, just gotta be better. Get good. Maybe it's a skill issue. I don't know. Skill issue. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a reason for this video at all. I really don't. I don't have a structure. I just started talking. Maybe it would be more organized. I do focus on Undertale and Helldivers too, so I don't know where this even came from. I don't even know I'm gonna put in the background. So whatever background's playing now, I have no idea. Speaking on OBS on a black screen in my basement at like 11 at night. That should be working. But I mean, I feel a little bit better now. But yeah, if there's anybody that understands what I'm talking about, just know you're not the only one. There are others that are in similar situations. And I think it's just something that we can grow and we can get better at over time. But it's not going to be an easy process. And if you're doing anything that is taking your time as far as family or career, then you already know it's kind of hard to balance all those things together. Of course, if you're in school, maybe you're not working yet. And I don't want to see it get worse. That sounds bad, but I mean, it can get worse. It can get worse. But at the end of the day, you know, you are the one that controls how you react to stuff. Just don't forget, you know, you are good enough. You are good enough. But also, say that you are good enough also does not mean you're good where you're at, if that makes sense. You're good enough, but yes, you can be better. It's kind of like going back and forth, but yeah, you're good enough, but if you're not happy, then you can change the situation. But it may take some time to look inwardly, and I think I'll spend a little more time thinking about it. But I figured I'd talk about it on here. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I don't plan on like making huge changes to the channel. It's something I want to talk about, you know. I like getting it off my chest. That's it. You can go now. Still here? Okay.